And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Thursday, February 1st. And as always, if you'd like additional weather information, the reason I mentioned this is weather.gov is the National Weather Service's online presence, and it allows you to get weather forecasts, watch warning, advisory information for anywhere in the country. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. You point and click anywhere on here, and you can find out what the weather is at any friend or family member's location. Looking at the map this Thursday afternoon, we do have some winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings for the inner Mountain West, including areas of the Rockies back across Nevada into the Sierra Nevada. But as far as massive weather systems, no really big storms. And here in Alaska, though, we do have one system that is working its way now southward across the Panhandle. Dumped as much as 13.5 inches of snow at Juneau and Angoon, in areas now down toward Petersburg and Klawak. Prince of Wales Island are going to get some moderate to heavy snow here through the late evening hours. We also are watching some extreme cold that continues to sit here across areas of the interior. This morning, Tanana was down to 56 below, and Haisley 55 below zero, and a number of locations there along the middle upper Yukon Valley and up through the middle Tanana Valley could see low temperatures in excess of 50 below. Now, temperatures are forecast to slowly moderate as we go through this weekend and into next week. It's going to be a gradual trend from southwest along the southwest coast, working its way northeast with the coldest air. It's going to take longer to get out of some of those valleys there and in the interior, so it won't be until early next week along the Alcan border before temperatures there begin to also moderate. But we're also watching kind of a shift in the pattern where we're going to see another parade or series of low pressure systems coming out of the North Pacific and then tracking across the Bering Sea and up into the Gulf, which will get the weather pattern a little more active again at times along the Gulf Coast, Panhandle, Alaska Peninsula, and perhaps even into portions of the southern mainland. Looking at a few of the FAA webcams this afternoon, Dead Horse blowing snow 11 below. We continue to have blizzard warnings east of there over toward Kaktovik as strong gusty winds continue to produce ground blizzard conditions, which has been a theme for a very long time now. Tanana down to 56 below zero this Thursday morning, could be back down near similar values Friday morning. As of early afternoon, sitting there at 42 below. You notice that just kind of that haze, a little bit of very low fine stratus, freezing fog. And then in Anchorage, we have kind of an Arctic haze as well. Temperatures within Anchorage ranged anywhere from around 15 to 25 below this morning. And temperature as of early mid-afternoon, only 6 below. And Juneau, the snow finally ending there, as I mentioned, 13.5 inches of snow measured at the Juneau International Airport. Temperature there now at 28 degrees, and that snow is currently working its way through the middle and lower Panhandle. And as a result, conditions will be slowly improving as we go through later tonight and especially Friday morning. So last night, when you have this really cold Arctic air, you get little fine ice crystals in there, and it causes the lights, whether in a parking lot or along the streets, to create these light pillars. They almost look like fake aurora. The only thing is you can tell is because the source of the light, and also they don't shimmer or wave like the aurora would. But that was taken by one of our forecasters, Pam, when she was working shift last night. And another forecaster caught this really nice image of some low stratus and steam fog out over the open water of Turnagain Arm. Michael Brown took that, and you can see the steam fog coming up in off the open water. And then you have this very low, shallow deck of stratus clouds. Again, very strong temperature inversion when you have this kind of setup in really cold air mass. So those are two really cool pictures. Looking at the hazardous weather, well, we still have winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories here for the central southern panhandle, particularly Prince of Wales Island, through midnight tonight. As much as another 5-8 inches of snow could fall here at Prince of Wales Island, and 3 to maybe 6 inches here in the middle panhandle there at Petersburg. As we go across the interior, these areas in orange, Thompson Pass, along the western northern Seward Peninsula, Wales, and up to Shishmaref, and then Anatuvik Pass, also under wind chill advisories because of just cold airflow coming through these regions. And then the ground blizzard conditions continuing there in the eastern Arctic coast, especially around Kaktovik, at least into Friday morning. Maybe it could be extended as well as we go into tomorrow. But looking at the satellite imagery, here we have low pressure system and the cloud cover associated with this plume of moisture that impacted the panhandle here since yesterday evening. And then back out toward the west, there is an area of high pressure over the interior that extends up into eastern Russia. And within the valleys here, you could have a little bit of freezing fog and certainly a lot of air stagnation, very strong temperature inversion. So places around Fairbanks continue to experience poor air quality from the burning of fires and fireplaces and stoves, as well as from any type of emissions from vehicles. Out to the west, there's a series now of lows out here in through the Bering Sea, with one front pushing up into the eastern Aleutians now, a couple low centers extending back toward the western Aleutians. And this is the leading edge of the new train of low pressures that are going to be coming up out of the North Pacific, either into the Bering Sea or eventually, as we get into this weekend, we'll have our first low kind of redevelop here crossing the Gulf Coast, and that could potentially produce some snow over areas of the southwest here Friday into early Saturday, spreading up to around Anchorage and brushing the Gulf Coast before pushing into the Panhandle. So looking at the current weather maps, we have this area of low pressure kind of along the British Columbia coast there, inland from the Panhandle. Trough of low pressure lagging. Here's the parent low that flung that moisture northward yesterday and last night. That's responsible for the heavier snowfall, especially there around Juneau and Angoon. Back here across the mainland, we have this ridge of high pressure. It's not especially strong. Central pressure, 1025, 1030 millibars, but very, very cold air has just settled in here across the interior. A number of locations could see lows back down around 50 below or a bit colder. And then here is the first low up here, pushing up into the central Bering Sea with a lead occluded front, another low behind that, and there'll be other ones coming up here as we go into the early weekend. So late tonight, early Friday morning, low pressure still situated down here along the British Columbia border here of the Panhandle, but at least the snow will begin to wind down late tonight and early on Friday morning. Things should be much more improved. Across the interior, very cold temperatures during the morning here, middle upper Yukon Valley extending up into the middle Tanana Valley, and then we do have first front kind of pushing eastward. That'll be the lead. Comes the second low out there to the southwest, and then on Friday afternoon we expect the system that was pushing through the lower Panhandle to push a little further inland into northwest Canada. High pressure sits here, centered 1032 millibars over the east central interior. Lead front nudging now up along the southwest coast. That's going to try to spread some light snow into areas of the southwest as we go into Friday night and Saturday morning. And then notice there's a series of lows, a few of them out here out over the southwest Bering down to south of the Aleutians. And this is just going to continue to be the case. The wave train of lows is just going to be moving from southwest to northeast up into the Bering, across the Aleutians, across the Alaska Peninsula, brushing the southwest, south central areas and the Gulf Coast, and eventually into the Gulf. So this will be the kind of re-emerging pattern. It'll be a little more active than what it's been. The cold air, this is what also is going to allow temperatures to modify, gradually warm from southwest to northeast. So the really cold air will finally be able to lift out of the central eastern interior as we get into later this weekend and early next week. But look at the temperatures. You still have readings near freezing or just above that. Say Ketchikan, 34 for a low, 32 Klawak, but 12 above up there at Skagway and around Haines. 41 below, Copper River Basin, Gulkana, Glen Allen. Other side of the Alaska Range, at least 44 below at McGrath. Temperatures getting, again, down in within the Anchorage Bowl, easily in that 15, 20 below range. Talkeetna this Thursday morning was down to 39 below zero, and that's probably not cold enough for Friday morning up there. They'll probably easily be back down around 30 below. And then for Friday afternoon, temperatures mid-30s above freezing here, the southern part of the Panhandle, only in the teens in the north, Skagway, Haines. Below zero across all of the interior, 22 below there in Copper River Basin, as well as at McGrath. And by the time we get into Saturday morning, still 41 below here at Glen Allen, 44 below over at McGrath, 21 below, probably still not cold enough for Talkeetna. And then out here along areas of the Panhandle, at least temperatures finally getting below freezing there for lows Saturday morning. And then Saturday afternoon, temperatures on the southern and outer up towards Sitka could see mid, maybe upper 30s, but still cold in the northern Panhandle. Juneau 25, 15 there, Skagway and up toward Haines. Daytime highs below zero, Copper River Basin, other side of the Alaska Range, maybe single digits above zero finally. In the Anchorage area. You have to wait until Sunday to get temperatures probably back up above 10 degrees. So check out these lows. Friday morning lows, some of these are not cold enough. I would say the normally cold spots, Yukon Flats on over toward Tanana, and those areas could once again be 50 below or colder. And then as we go into daytime highs, 30s, 40 below. So very cold air lingers central, eastern, interior to the Alcan border. And then Saturday morning lows, now we're seeing some 50 belows. Again, a number of these locations within the central and eastern interior could have lows around 55 below. A few spots could even be a couple degrees colder. And for Saturday afternoon, temperatures are starting to moderate just a hint here out toward Norton Sound, not quite as cold. As we look at the southwest, notice here Friday morning, 40s below as you upper Kuskokwim at McGrath, as well as up toward Galena. Trail out along the Alaska Peninsula, lows are above freezing at Dutch Harbor, just above freezing. And then Friday afternoon highs still below zero as we go up the Yukon River and up the middle upper Kuskokwim, but temperatures are going to start to moderate here along the southwest coast, maybe 40 around Chiknik and on over toward Dutch Harbor. And then temperatures Saturday morning, single digits along the southwest coast. Also could be some clouds and snow moving up into this area. And a push of milder air begins to work its way northeastward gradually. So that's going to trigger some snow along a front. And for Saturday afternoon, notice temperatures finally getting back up in the 20s to near 30 along the coastline, including maybe 31 there. At King Salmon, some lower 40s possible along the Alaska Peninsula back toward the eastern Aleutians. And taking a look at the temperature outlook as we get a little deeper into February now, February 7th through the 11th, notice temperatures are going to be averaging near normal. We had just this tremendous area of much below normal temperatures across the southwest into the interior. That's finally breaking down. Look for temperatures to average a bit closer to normal, both the Panhandle, mainland, maybe a little below normal in the northwest, Nome up toward Kotzebue. But then with this evolving pattern of lows coming out of the North Pacific again, it does put areas of the southwest and south central mainland under the gun for above normal precipitation, which could mean some additional moderate to heavier snowfall here in this time frame, which would include areas like Anchorage back toward Dillingham. Anchorage area is already had upwards around 105 inches of snow for the season, the most seen at this point in a winter season, and we still have a good 2.5 months to go. 134.5 inches is the all-time season snowfall record for Anchorage, and that's certainly a possibility, not a given, but something to keep an eye on. And we do have a lot of snow load in this area of South Central from all the above normal to record snowfall we receive. So be aware of the fact of roofs. Good idea if you can to shovel them off to reduce some of that snow load, because if we get any additional storms, that could already lead to additional roof collapses that have happened. So stay tuned to later forecast.